All right, this morning we're going to draw our attention to something that we haven't talked a whole lot about here recently, but it is super important, and that's estate planning and what you should do to make sure that your families are prepared, loved ones are prepared. And joining us this morning is Elaine McGinnis from Law Office of Elaine McGinnis. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
So let's talk about this. And
Thank
I know
you for having
I've
me.
been hearing reports, kind of at the beginning of the pandemic that you were seeing, not just your office, but in general, that people were looking into this a little bit more as far as making sure that families had their wills and that their estates were in order. Did you see that with your office?
Yes, definitely. Typically, most of my clients are referrals, either from current clients, my friends, family, other attorneys. And over the last several months, there's been a lot more online traffic. Unfortunately, in the beginning, it was a lot of doctors, nurses, people on the front lines, people that were worried when they came into contact with patients. And then in the last month or so, I've had a lot of teachers reaching out, which is too bad. But honestly, it's always an important conversation. It's something that is good to think about and good to prepare when you're in the right frame of mind. So I've been happy to help a lot of families.
Because I think a lot of people, no matter what your profession is, where you are in life, it's important for everybody. And I think we can all be guilty sometimes of maybe putting off those tough conversations that you mentioned. What do you want people to know this morning when it comes to making sure that your affairs are in order?
I think it's important to know that it's not something that's just for the elderly community. Unfortunately, tragedies happen every day. We all worry so much about our kids. A lot of parents go out and buy large life insurance policies, but I don't think they would want their minor children to inherit those policies when they turn 18 years old. Many 18-year-olds are still seniors in high school, even though they're considered adults. They would need a court process to go through, having a guardian appointed for them, having a trustee appointed for that money, and then they would inherit at a young age. So if you plan for that, you can decide who will be in charge, how that money will be spent, whether incremental distributions are appropriate, whether that child should inherit the money when they're 25 or 30 or 35, use it for college, a down payment on a house, any of those kinds of things. So I think it's easy for people to make sure they have life insurance through work or purchase a policy, but then they may not really think about the purpose of that is to provide for your minor children. And you want to do it in a way that's appropriate and that protects them.
Little less than a minute left here. Is the process right now, because so many of us are working from home and obviously different things, is it somewhat an easy process to go ahead and get started for people watching this morning that want to get the ball rolling on this?
Sure. I mean, it depends on the complexity of your family situation. It depends on your assets. If you have multiple rental properties in several states or business interests, that might be more complicated. But if you're a family with a few kids at home and a house and a retirement account, then it can be relatively simple. Most attorneys have a questionnaire that they use that the client can fill out, answer any questions, email drafts back and forth. It is important that it's signed correctly. That is kind of the key to all of this. So that has to be done typically in office. There are some ways to do it online or in the beginning of all this, some attorneys were having like drive-by signings. I mean, there's creative ways to do it, but that has to be done correctly.
Well, we've been showing the number there for people. Again, we can't stress enough how important this is. Thank you so much for reminding everybody about this, and mention the morning blend. You're going to get a 10% off your estate planning documents as well. So thank you for offering that for our viewers this morning. But again, there's the website, there's the phone number. Elaine, we appreciate it.